Hi, and thank you for watching TargetedWest.com. This is DJ Chris. It is the 3rd of March, 2024. This is show number 102. It is 52 degrees here in beautiful Lodi, California. I'm in my trusty camper. And of course, the opinions of the people on this call are that of their own and not that of DJ Chris or Targeted West. We're a peaceful work group that gets together and discusses the fourth industrial revolution technologies that are among us now and have been developing for a while. Of course, tonight we have with us John Phillips. And I met John Phillips in 2020. I reviewed his book. He was one of the first books and a few I've read, along with Dr. Duncan and Dr. John Hall. So I'm very pleased to have you on the call tonight. So welcome. Hello, John. How are you?
Hi, Chris. Thank you. I am about the same as usual. How are you?
I'm good. I'm hanging in there. It was a crazy day, but I got through it.
Good. I'm glad. I'm glad we're here. I'm honored to be here.
Yes, we're talking about your book, The Electromagnetic Revolution and Federal Targeted Individual Program.
Yes. Yes, well, thank you, Chris, for having me on your outstanding call. I've got my, am I screen sharing right now?
You are. I can see TW presentation outline, yes.
Awesome. Okay, just so everyone knows, I am stuck in screen sharing mode and I don't know how to get out. So this is how I do it. I have to have notes and an outline. So here we go. I'm ready to go. I want to thank you, Chris, for all the good work that you've done. I think that your decision to have the call married to the book club is brilliant. It's you're an outstanding and inspiring example of someone who is intelligent and well educated on this topic, inspiring others to do the same, to read books, to learn things, and to know things. And I'm grateful for you and for your work and for your review and rating of my book. The first person to rate it, review it. It really lifted my spirits. So I'm going to take off and I'm going to fly through some material because I have to lay the foundation so that I can tell my story. I'll tell a little bit about...
Good. Yeah, and we rated you a 9 in the book club for your book, so you did good.
Nice. Well, thank you.
And by the way, ladies and gentlemen, if you're watching on Spotify, BitchUte, YouTube, or Archive, you can join the book club for free by going to bookclubs.com/TIbookclub/join/ and then you can sign up for free. And it's # or hashtag TI Book Club on Twitter.
Okay, here we go. I'll tell a little bit about me, and then we're going to fly through some material. I was a massage therapist. I graduated from the Casey Riley School of Massotherapy in 1998, and I have a Bachelor of Arts in Social Work from Idaho State University, December 2009. Before this targeting program destroyed my life, I was a holistic health professional. So for people who cannot see the screen, I'm showing a picture of an article from Venture Inward magazine where my dad and I participated in a Parkinson's research project to treat his Parkinson's disease with a holistic treatment from the Edgar Casey health readings. So in this picture that I'm showing on the screen, Dad and I are circled in red. We learned this holistic treatment. It worked so well for my dad. He was rejuvenated, his symptoms disappeared, and he got 10 years of high-quality life as a result of this treatment. And I was so inspired by this that I returned to that place and got my massage therapy training, and I was a massage therapist up until 2007 when I ruptured a disc. At that point, I went back to college and finished a Bachelor of Social Work. But after working in the field for a year, I didn't like it. I went right back to massage therapy again in spite of the ruptured disc. So around the time when my targeting got crazy in 2014, I want to show what I was doing. In 2013, I was a professional licensed massage therapist. I was a volunteer in the American Massage Therapy Association. I was the Eastern Unit representative in Idaho, and I organized a continuing education workshop. So I'm showing on the screen now a flyer that I put out. The picture shows a man who was the educator. He was the guy who trained us. And I'm just showing that I was engaged in the community. I was doing productive things. And around this time, I had gotten 23 A's in a row in my college classes between 2008 and 2015. So here's a transcript. It just shows my social work education, finishing that out. Got 4 A's there, got 4 more. My attempt to become a physical therapy assistant, where I had gotten straight A's in all the prerequisites, and then when it came time to apply for the program, I got passed over by people who did not have the grades that I had, nor the affinity for the work. And by that time, I knew there was some malevolent force at work in my life, and I wondered, is that why I got passed over? So I was mentally fit, I was physically fit. Now I'm showing a picture of me when I was all buffed out from working out all the time. I was doing strength training, stretching, purifying and coordinating key body systems, the holistic practice of health. And I was meditating and dream journaling, and I had done so for years. This is 2014. It is right before they attacked me. This is the person who I was then. And then they moved in on me a few months later. And during that time, I was showing a picture of my sauna that I built. I was serious about it. I did purification and ate organic vegetables, and I prayed and meditated, and I asked, what is my purpose? What is my mission? What's my service to the world? And I would sit in meditation, sit in silence, and wait for the answer. And what happened was I got attacked by these people. So my strategy for tonight is, my story is so crazy that I had to write this book in order to tell my story. And I had to tell this story because it's so important. So I'll follow the same approach. I'll present some evidence and tell my story at the end. The book is written in APA format. This is the format that is used for peer-reviewed journal articles in science, engineering, medicine, and social sciences. It uses authoritative sources, empirical data, and evidence to objectively describe a subject and to add weight to a persuasive argument utilizing a consistent method of in-text quotation, citation, and references. The purpose of the book is intended to educate non-targeted people about the program and prove that this program exists. And I had to write it to tell my story. But it is my hope and my experience in some cases that I can hand this book to someone who doesn't know anything about this program. If they're honest, if they read this book, then they know that there's something to it. So the book begins with a brief introduction to directed energy weapons from the Department of Defense Joint Chiefs of Staff publication, Electronic Warfare, where they explain why it's so important to them to use these weapons to damage and destroy objects, people. They describe what it is and what they want to do with it. Then we go straight to the directed energy weapons market. Source is Variant Market Research. It was a source available to me in 2020, where they, according to their projections, say that the directed energy market today is worth $48.5 billion in 2024. So, available at that time when I published the book was this graph on the brain-computer interface market, where they said it was worth $1.2 billion in 2019. If you extrapolate that out, according to this graph, it would be worth about $2.5 billion today. So after presenting that information in the book, I move on to some original research that I did, where I wanted to find objective data to describe the TI population. So I just did a simple Amazon search, targeted individuals books. It gave me about 500 and some search results, and I combed through them, and I vetted 111 titles as books that were written by TIs or about this subject. So I got 58 unique authors publishing, and I graphed them by their date of first publication. So we're talking about the people, not the books. As the years went on, more and more people became first-time authors publishing targeted individual books. And this shows growth of the targeted individual population. So I took the numbers, I plugged them into the population growth formula, and it showed a 570% annual growth rate of the targeted individual population, which is explosive growth. The next data set that I had to use was Dr. Catherine Horton's affidavit surveys, where I graphed the year when targeting began, or rather the decade. So out of 42 respondents, and the decade where their targeting began, you see the graph increasing, 820% average growth rate per decade, according to Horton's affidavits. So we have the concurrent growth of the targeted individual population parallel to the proliferation of directed energy weapons and brain-computer interface. Another piece of original research from the book is this poll that I did, where 31 people responded to this question. Was there a latent phase for you where, looking back, you now realized that they were interfering with you before they started to overtly harass or torture you? 80% of them said yes. So that shows that large numbers of us can be targeted and we don't know it.
Interesting.
A little caveat to the directed energy weapons market information, and when I checked the link on it, the original information that I had found in 2020 was gone. They scrubbed it and replaced it with falsified information that shaved approximately $36 billion off of the directed energy weapons market, which bears no relationship to reality, not at all. So they lied, they falsified. And they also scrubbed another source page of mine, the INL test range page. And then the book moves on to discuss a number of things. One of the things is false flags. I wondered if Ted Gunderson was right, that the FBI and other intelligence agencies were responsible for every major act of domestic terrorism. I looked into it and I found out, yeah, people have come out in droves after every single one of these events and demolished the official story and pointed at our own government. So the this is a picture that I'm showing on the screen now of Rumsfeld and Cheney meeting up in the Ford administration in 1974, where they started to work on continuity of government planning. And according to Peter Dell Scott, 9/11 initiated continuity of government.
Yes, COG, and 9/11 was based on PNAC, which those two were involved in, Policy for a New American Century.
Right.
And that got scrubbed off the internet too. Now it's a Chinese site.
Huh. So I go into a lot of detail on the false flags of 9/11, but we're not doing that right now. So we are looking at deep underground military bases and the technology used to create those. We have the subterranean, which melts tunnels under the ground. It was first demonstrated in 1971 to melt a drainage system around Vandeleur National Monument, and then it disappeared into the Department of Energy, and we never heard about it again. Then we'll look at Paul J. Springer's article about clandestine tunnels used for warfare, where he says that if irregular warfare remains common in the next few decades, as it has been for many recent conflicts, tunnels are likely to play an increasingly important role. Next up, we're going to look at DARPA's Project Underminer, where they ask contractors to develop a method of tunneling where they could tunnel 5.38 miles in one day, minimum. So how do they do that? Millimeter wave drill. The millimeter wave drilling project was a Department of Energy sponsored development project where these 4 civilian guys got together over the summer and they scabbed together some equipment and built a machine that could melt or vaporize rock using only high power, intense millimeter waves, electromagnetic energy. They melted 4 different types of rock, and they demonstrated that they could tunnel through the ground, through solid rock, while simultaneously forming the conditions necessary to create a strong sealing rock melt liner. No vibration, no waste rock. They can do it anywhere. They can do it in soft or incompetent ground by using an additive to form the liner. This is a picture of the machine that they built. What we're looking at is a tube suspended vertically over a basalt sample, and the basalt sample has a hole burned right through it with millimeter waves. They show us a graph in this study that shows that the drilling rate and borehole diameter are dependent only on the amount of power they run through their equipment. Remember, this is just 4 guys who got together over the summer with borrowed equipment and built this. Next, we're looking at an article that showed that NASA, the Department of Energy, and Los Alamos National Laboratory built a miniature nuclear reactor that was the size of a coffee can that could produce 10 kilowatts of power for up to 10 years. So in laying all this out, I'm pointing out that openly acknowledged existing technology makes small, portable, clandestine tunneling technology with no noise or vibration, and which makes its own sealing rock melt liner without the need to remove waste rock, not just plausible, but it's likely. It's likely that a serious effort by the government and a black project has already happened to perfect this technology and deploy it.
Yes, and we did a article show conference on D.U.M.B's deep underground military bases. Yes.
Oh, I missed it.
It's in the archives. You can check it out.
I should go find that. And
yeah.
So now we're looking at Idaho. Bringing it to Idaho now. Richard Sauter, in his book Underground Bases and Tunnels, What is the Government Trying to Hide? References a 1975 Defense Nuclear Agency geological study where they identified great places to build deep underground military bases would be in the central mountains of Idaho or on the Snake River Plain, where the Idaho National Laboratories is located. It's a great place because there's a huge basalt formation there that was formed as the North American plate passed over the hot spot, which is now Yellowstone. The basalt formations on the Snake River Plain are up to 6 miles deep, and it creates a geologically stable formation, and that's why the Department of Energy chose to build over 50 nuclear reactors on the Snake River Plain at the Idaho National Laboratories. Now we're looking at a picture of like a scenic overview sign, one of those big signs on the side of the road, and it's within the boundaries of the Idaho National Laboratories 900 square mile test range. And they talk about the reactors, they talk about the 900 square mile test range, and they say that they're developing peaceful uses of atomic energy. But we have not seen any practical uses that they have given us for atomic energy. But they do build weapons because they are a weapons research and development facility. So now they develop compact nuclear reactors for nuclear attack submarines, such as the USS Hawkbill, a Sturgeon-class nuclear attack submarine. And now we're looking at the conning tower of the Hawkbill, a giant nuclear attack submarine conning tower that they hauled to southeastern Idaho from the west coast, and they planted it on the edge of the tiny town of Arco, Idaho, where I grew up. It's a town of 1,200 people. It borders the Idaho National Laboratories test range, and they put this here as a kind of Luciferian billboard. The picture we're seeing is a giant conning tower that's about 30 feet long, 15 feet high, 10 feet wide, with giant serial numbers on it, 666. This page that we're going to read right now, this part, has been scrubbed from the Idaho National Laboratories website. Instead of the weapons research and development that they discussed when I wrote my book, now they talk about diversity and inclusion. But when I wrote my book...
DEI, yeah.
Pardon me, Chris?
They call it DEI, yeah.
Okay. The test range, they described it. They said the range is uniquely positioned to support a wide variety of full-scale and practical testing opportunities for the Department of Energy, Department of Defense, National Security Agency, Department of Homeland Security, and other federal and industrial collaborators. And they explained that they do classified program support for the Department of Defense and these other criminal three-letter agencies. Now I have on the screen a map that shows southeastern Idaho, and I have drawn in a yellow highlighter the boundaries of the 900 square mile test range of the Idaho National Laboratories. To the west is the tiny town of Arco, 1,200 people. To the east here is the town of Idaho Falls, which is about 50,000 people, and a few of these national security state entities are listed on the map. And then south of the test range is Pocatello, where I lived and where I was attacked. And as you look at the scene here, the environment, the terrain shows farmers, ranchers, empty space, maybe some rattlesnakes and rabbits, and the Idaho National Laboratories, and in Pocatello, the FBI's Gray Wolf Data Center. And those are the two outstanding features of the landscape in this context, as I was trying to figure out what happened. This map is not in the book. So let's look at the management of the Idaho National Laboratories. It's managed by Battelle Energy Alliance. The Idaho National Laboratories has an annual budget at that time of $1.3 billion a year, 5,000 scientists, engineers, and support staff. So in truth, it's a big driver of the economy there in southeast Idaho. Battelle manages 8 of our national laboratories. Battelle, a private contractor, is notable for its synthetic biotechnology research. But synthetic biotechnology, what that means is biological weapons and genetic manipulation. Battelle is also notable for its neurotechnological research. A partial list of their capabilities in neurotechnology product development include brain-computer interface design and development. And they include in their capabilities image and data reconstruction. In this context, that means they can read and write images and data from your brain and to your brain. Subsequent to the publication of my book, DARPA put out on their, Battelle put out on their website, battelle.org, their newest Battelle brain-computer interface DARPA contract. I've got the screenshot here, so if they scrub it, I can prove where it came from. What this contract is...
That's Bechdel, Bechdel, for the audience, right?
Battelle?
Yeah, how was that spelled? I'm sorry.
You're kidding around, right? B-A-T-T-E-L-L-E, Battelle.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry. Gotcha. Okay, I just want to make sure everybody knew exactly what it was.
Yeah, it's Battelle Memorial. What they're describing here in this article is a magnetoelectric nanotransducer-based brain-computer interface concept. So I deconstructed this word by going into some journal articles. Magnetoelectric refers to graphene, the magnetic and conductive properties of graphene. In this case, decorated graphene that has nanoparticles of metals incorporated into it. So a magnetoelectric nano, we know what nano is, it's tiny particles of things. Transducer is a material that transforms one form of energy to another. That's what they're talking about. They're talking about a decorated graphene nano transducer that is able to transform light into electricity or heat into electricity. See what I mean?
So that could be in your body and make your body into an antenna, perhaps, or a broadcasting system.
Yes, I think that's correct. That's what I get out of it, too. The group will further develop and test an external brain-writing interface for the brain system to transmit or receive magnetoelectric signals technology, which requires the injection of localized magnetoelectric nanotransducers in neural tissue to be guided by a magnet to a targeted location in the brain. Our current data suggests that we can non-surgically introduce magnetoelectric nanotransducers into the brain for subsequent bidirectional neural interfacing. Now we're going to talk about some of the management out there real quick. The director of the INL, his first discipline is geology. He's a member of many geology associations. He's a very busy man, but he keeps up with his geology credentials. The deputy director, her first discipline is also geology, and she keeps up with her geology credentials. Now we have their counterintelligence officer at the Idaho National Laboratories is a retired CAA agent who works counterintelligence. The director of their security personnel, he has 500 private security personnel in his command. He's decorated by the CIA, and he's naval counterintelligence. So they're out there in the middle of nowhere, right? And they have a counterintelligence program going on, like COINTELPRO. And also Lockheed Martin is out at the Idaho National Laboratories. And we all know who Lockheed Martin is, right? They're the biggest weapons dealer in the world. They're into directed energy weapons, satellites, aerospace, and they're also into mind control.
And they also control the government by running almost every computer system, database, printing operation. Everything's them now because the government outsourced back in the 90s, 2000s.
Yes.
So they control everything. They even control the computers that you would look up stuff about them if there's something wrong. They control it all.
I agree. I think that we're talking about fascism now.
It's manipulation to the point where it's Lockheed of the United States.
Right. The corporations have gotten control of the technology, and they run the world. So Lockheed Martin's employee, a neuroengineer, Dr. John Norstein, gave an interview to U.S. News and World Report in 2000. And he was talking about a mind-reading machine. They gave it a ridiculous name, electro-hypno-mental phone, a mind-reading machine. So a Lockheed employee, John Norstein, said about it, he said, you can begin to manipulate what someone is thinking even before they know it. He said, the ethics don't concern me, but they should concern someone else. So mind control is a weapon, and Lockheed Martin is into weapons, and they're into mind control too.
And Giordano said the brain is the new warfare theater for the world.
Yes, I agree. Now that we've covered that material, we'll go to the FBI's Gray Wolf Data Center in Pocatello. They recently upgraded it in around 2020. They were just cutting the ribbon. There's 600 agents in their facility in a town of 68,177 people with Pocatello and Chubbuck combined. So here's a picture now of the FBI facility. It's a giant militarized compound with a big stone wall that has steel slats that come up off the top of the wall. They curve outward and they're pointed. So it's like a military base. In order to enter the facility, it has a vehicle lock. So you drive up to one gate, it lowers, you drive over it, then it comes back up, then a second gate lowers, and then you drive over that, just like a military base. Inside of the FBI's compound are all these computers. This picture that I'm showing now of this huge room packed with these giant computer towers comes from the FBI's website, where they explained what they had done with their $100 million expansion. They built this, what they call a data center, so that they can surveil and analyze us. Now, I'm going to try to tell my story. Bear in mind, please, as I do this, that I have 4 notarized affidavits of sworn testimony from 3 independent witnesses. And I also reference 4 people in Horton's affidavit surveys where 4 of the TIs reported tunneling or burrowing under the property. What happened to me was these people tunneled up underneath my house, and they started to invade my dreams in approximately the fall of 2014. All of a sudden, I heard people talking under the house. I heard cell phones ringing underneath the house. I heard music under the house, power tools being used underneath the house. And I didn't know what to do, okay? I didn't tell anybody because I didn't think anyone would believe me. And what do you do then? Excavate underneath your house, you know? So I didn't do anything. I compartmentalized it and rationalized it. And I went on with my life, and I pretended that that these people couldn't do anything to hurt me. I didn't understand exactly what was going on, but I knew that they were messing around with my dreams while I was asleep, because I've been journaling my dreams for years, and these strange dreams were happening. It wasn't normal. And this went on for 4 years. And over that space of 4 years, I noticed that the voices would change, and my perception of it was that they were bringing in new teams of people to train in this dream invasion tunnel dwelling training facility that was my house and my head, that they would trade these people out about every 6 months and bring in new people and train them. And it started to get ugly. Some things happened where at one point I was out in my sauna. I had a little radio out there. I was listening to the radio. Little Pink Houses by John Mellencamp. A girl singing along with the radio. I turn the radio off. The girl doesn't realize that she still sings for a few seconds. And then I hear her say, "Oh, I'm sorry." And some guy says to her, "It's okay." They didn't care if I knew they were there. They didn't care. This went on for 4 years. And then, this is something that is not in the affidavit, my affidavit. I don't know why I didn't include this. I think I forgot about it. But now sometimes I can't remember anything, you know. So what happened was...
Do you think they're erasing your memory too?
I know that I have blank spots now in my memory. My memory is not functioning normally like it did.
We'll talk about that, because the dreams have something to do with that, by the way, because they're flooding your brain with all this fake dreamery. I have the same problem. So does someone else in the home. Continue.
Yes. In 2017, on the 4th of July, I went up to Lava Hot Springs with my 2 nieces and my nephew. And we went to the bar, and we played pool and drank beer. And we met there a drunken electrical engineer and his son. And the son and my youngest niece kind of hit it off. And this drunken electrical engineer, I mean obnoxiously drunk, and his son followed us back from the bar to our camp. And I got to tell you, I was annoyed. I didn't invite them. I didn't like it. And he was complaining about how stressful his job was, because he was partly responsible for upgrading the entire electrical system of the Idaho National Laboratories. And he's whining to me about it. And I'm annoyed. And I say to him, as a rhetorical question, I say, "Why? Are you expecting a space weather event?" And he gets all weak in the knees. He says, "Yeah." And then he goes quiet and disappears, leaves his son there. Comes back with a woman driving a Cadillac Escalade with NSA symbols emblazoned on both forward doors. They get out of the Escalade. They come up to me, ask me my name. I tell them. I ask them their names, which I forgot. I don't have their names, or I'd publish it. The drunken engineer gets his son. they leave. And I knew then that something bad had happened. And it was after this event in 2017 that I started to have really serious problems with my eye and health problems, ear infections, and a dramatic increase in the dream invasions, is what I call it, because they're interactive dreams.
So do you think besides the dreams they may be radiating you, perhaps?
They hadn't overtly irradiated me at that point that I knew of. They do now. They do it all the time to me now. It's still going on. It's going on right this minute. So at that point, where I was having these problems with my eye, I still couldn't put it together until later. What happened was, I knew there were, this is crazy, you guys. I knew there were people under the house. I knew they were affecting my dreams. I told myself they can't hurt me, they can't do anything to me. And then we had a problem with our foundation. So I fixed the foundation, got the house ready to sell, and then they overtly attacked me. In the fall of 2018, around October of 2018, I had already gone to have chalasia drained out of my eye, where my sebaceous glands went crazy and made like oil deposits in my eyelids and stuff, and my eye was getting hurt, and the dream invasions were just crazy with these obtuse, malevolent strangers, is what I called them, dreams that had nothing to do with me. And by 2018, by October, they started to overtly attack me. After I had fixed the foundation, the house was ready to sell. That's when it became overt. So I freaked out. At one point, I locked everything. I put the padlock on the coal chute on the inside. I barricaded the trapdoor, which was in my bedroom, to go to the basement. So there's only two ways in the basement: the trapdoor, the coal chute. I built a Faraday box. I tried to escape the overt D.U.M.B attacks in the box. Didn't work. I told my mother and my son what was going on, and I tried to get relief in the box. It didn't work. So after 3 days of being in this box and having everything locked down, I said, we're out of here. Let's put the house on the market. My mother, like, yeah, okay, we're selling the house. So I gave my son the key to the coal chute. I said, son, please go unlock the coal chute. He comes back. He says, Dad, I had to unbarricade the trapdoor first. I moved the desk off of it, sent him down there. He couldn't unlock the coal chute. I said, well, give me the key. I'll go do it. I couldn't unlock it. So we subsequently cut the lock off with bolt cutters, open the coal chute. Light streams in. You can see what's going on. And there's holes drilled in the foundation. There's a lock-picking device broken off inside the padlock that we cut off. There's evidence that someone had been in there. My son noticed that they ate our storage food. They drank our water. My mother noticed that they patted down all the dirt. Part of the basement was dirt, and somebody had gone and patted it down with a textured object. And we had the two holes that had been drilled, one through the concrete foundation, which I had just refinished, and one through the hard pan clay where the dirt was. And the hard pan clay, part of it had a trajectory that would clear the foundation wall about 10 feet underground. I'm like, yeah, somebody was in here, they got trapped. The guys in the tunnels around the house drilled our foundation and drilled this hole in the hard pan clay to get this guy this lock-picking device. He broke the lock-picking device off in the lock, and somehow the guy got out of there without us catching him. He had time to do it. That's what happened. Crazy. Everybody freaks out. My mom and my son.
That's absolutely amazing. That's wild. Continue.
Yeah, my mother. I said, we got to go to the police. And my mother and I said, no. I still didn't know there was a global targeting program. I didn't know that. They wouldn't go to the police. They said, just run away. Everything's okay. We'll get out of here and it'll stop. I didn't have the power to force them to do it. I wanted to believe it would stop. So I threw the padlock away. And I said, see, you don't have to kill me. I'm throwing the padlock away. And we did sell the house. I left and I went to Montana, got attacked on the way to Montana, got attacked in Montana. And it's never stopped ever since. The house is gone. Everything's gone. Other things happen. It's all in my affidavit. Then I have my mother's affidavit about the incident in the basement and about being photographed in the streets of Arco, which I was being stalked and photographed. My son's affidavit, and another friend of mine, Robert Lester, also wrote an affidavit because he and I were terrorized on a trip in Utah near the Bluffdale, Utah data center. Some people terrorized us, and that account, he wrote that up and swore to it in a notarized affidavit.
Incredible. Did you want to take questions soon, or did you want to continue for a little bit? Want to take questions?
I'll take questions.
Okay, let's go. Please stand by while we switch modes.
Yeah.
And you can, you're unmuted, so you can continue. Yeah, so this is John Phillips, author of the book Electromagnetic Revolution and Federal Targeted Individual Program, contributing corporations and federal agencies in Idaho. John Phillips is our guest. I contacted him back in 2020, and here we are tonight. So does anybody have any questions for John Phillips?
Hi.
Go ahead.
Hi. I'm Katie Peterson, and thank you so much for your information you've given tonight. It's been extremely helpful. Did you just say that your house that you left is no longer there?
The house is still there.
Oh, okay. I misunderstood because I have 5 houses that are no longer wherever I was targeted. As soon as I leave, the houses they get taken down to hide evidence, and so that's why I thought that would have been interesting. But okay, it's nice chatting with you. I'll let other people talk.
Thank you, Katie.
So much for your information. Thank you.
Our next question in line, please come in for John Phillips. We're having him on for discussion about his book.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you loud and clear. Come on in.
All right. Hi, this is Michelle and Daryl Burns. Hello, John.
Hi, Michelle.
And I want to let you know that we heard your entire presentation this evening, and it was wonderful and very informative. And my targeting has increased 50% since a couple days ago. You know what I'm talking about.
Yes.
So it was a pleasure meeting you and having you as a guest. And, we're here for you at any time. And I really appreciate DJ Chris hosting you. It's the first time I've ever gone to your Targeted West sessions, Chris.
Oh, well, I'm glad you're here. Welcome aboard. I hope you come back next week.
Are you from San Jose?
I am. I'm born and raised in San Jose at O'Connor Hospital in 1960.
Okay. My family is the Squatritos. My uncle, Louis Squatrito, used to manage and run Courtesy Chevrolet on Stevens Creek.
Oh, my friend Bob used to buy Chevys there every year. I think he knew him. He got a Monte Carlo. In the 70s. I remember him. Yeah.
Yeah, that was my father's brother. And my cousin is Mark Squatrito, and the San Filippos are my cousins. And I went to Blackford in my sophomore year.
I went to Santa Clara High School. Haha.
Okay. There you go.
I grew up in Santa Clara. Yeah, I grew up
I love
Camino
that my
Scott.
grandparents were there. Yeah, they all moved there from originally Italy, and then they went to New York, and then they went to San Francisco, and they wound up in San Jose and Santa
That's
Clara.
incredible. Yeah, my
It's a small
adopted
world.
family's from Italy. Yeah, so I understand.
No kidding. Oh my God.
No, Ronzoni's. Yeah.
Ronzoni.
Yeah,
Well, I know
from
that.
over in near Sunnyvale, over off of the farmer area there. Ranzoni family.
Sure.
Yeah.
No, it will. I'm sure they knew Grandma and Grandpa.
Oh yeah, and I knew
Tuxedo.
Santa Clara. My dad was a mailman for Santa Clara. You probably know him. He owned a dry cleaners, and he knew Larry Marcelli and that whole gang.
God, yeah, we used to go to the Italian American thing, you know.
Yeah, and
Phillips and
and all that. Well, great. Well, we don't want to take away from poor John Phillips, so
no,
we'll
I
go
don't.
to the next
But
question.
I just
Well,
want to
thank
let
you for coming in.
Thank you, John. Thank you.
Thanks, Michelle.
Next customer in line. I sound like I'm in a deli. Next person waiting.
I'll have a rye.
Do we have a pastrami with rye?
No, I want a Reuben. I like that.
You want a Reuben? Okay,
Yeah.
I'll give you a Reuben. I'll give you 2 Reubens and a Joe and a Sam.
Okay, so I wanted to make one comment and a question. John, I also had chalasias taken from my eye, and I was 19 years old. And I'm a lifelong targeted individual. I don't know if that makes me, I don't win anything, you know. But I was curious about the dreams, if you could tell me a little bit more. Did they, because often when I wake up, I'll be seeing like texts or something or pictures just as I'm waking up. Some kind of picture, some kind of text, something where like it seems like if I could read it, because it's like it seems like they're documents or something. But I want to see. Did you have stuff like that in your dreams too? That things that you would need like to examine, that they just flash on your screen of your mind?
Yes, these things like that would happen, and I'm so glad. Thank you, Minnie, for asking about that. What I would like to make a point that I had an experience with the dream invasions where I had a really severe artificial dream and eye damage accompanied it, and it was clear to me at that point, finally I got it, right, that they were beaming me in the eye, hitting my optic nerve to get to my visual cortex, right? This is what I concluded from this concurrent dream invasion eye damage phenomena. They're beaming me in the eye. And I got shielding for my head and eyes, sheet metal, that I built like giant sunglasses that cover my eyes and a full head helmet. And you know what happened when I did that? Stopped it cold. Stopped the dream invasion.
Really? But was that comfortable to wear, though?
It took me a lot of practice and work, but I did get it to be comfortable enough to sleep in, and I use it to this day. And I did have dreams like Minnie asked about, and now at this point it's been 4 years of shielding, so the dream invasion can still happen under some circumstances when they just irradiate me so badly they get through the shielding, and even then when that happens, it's not vivid. It's very faint. It just took the wind right out of their sails as far as the dream invasion goes. And 9 times out of 10 or 99 times out of 100 really, I don't have the dream invasions. It stopped it cold.
I'd like that to happen because my dreams are terrible.
Well, you have an add to cart for your invention.
Yeah, you should make it. You should make it. Seriously, people will buy it if it works. I believe you.
Can I ask the purpose of them invading dreams? Because I'm coming to that part in the program at the moment, and that's why it's 3 a.m. in the UK and I'm awake.
The reason they do the dreams, but I'm sure John will tell you this, is to implant false memories and to see how you act during a dream, because it's first person and it's, lucid.
I agree. I agree, and I would also suggest that when you're in a dream state, you have absolutely no filter. Your normal filters that you could, like if you're subliminally programmed at the movie theater to go buy a Coke, but you don't drink Coke, the subliminal programming won't work. When you're asleep and they invade your subconscious mind, they can program you subconsciously, and you have no idea that this is happening. The only reason I feel like that I could understand it as well as I did is because I was journaling my dreams, and I was actively practicing. I'm going to remember my dreams. I'm going to come awake and conscious in the dream. I'm going to write the dream down. It was kind of like a practice of trying to do lucid dreaming, So I had focused on it and journaled my dreams for that long. And then when you decide, finally, as we look at this and this dream invasion phenomenon, if they're going directly into your subconscious mind, you have got no filter and no defense. That's why they interrogate people in their dreams, like Chris was saying.
That's how they do it.
Yeah, to see what you will or will not do.
That's correct. And I may want to add that indigenous people in my book, the synthetic dream book, indigenous people go by their dreams. So you could literally get an entire tribe to leave the land so you can build an industrial complex.
Yeah.
What I've found, though, is that it's a theme that's running through, like you say, sorry, I didn't catch your name, is it Philip? Like you say, one of the things that I'm doing, and I've done tonight, is hurting babies, like really being horrible to babies and children, which is something I would never do in real life. I don't let it bother me too much, though. But yeah, tonight I got somebody, they were grown, they were an adult, but it was almost like they were a baby, and I was just smashing their head up against the wall, and then I was found out, so I was being chased, but through this really crazy place. And it's also strange because I'm in my 60s, and most of my life, since I was like a teenager, since I was about 12, I've never had dreams because I used to smoke a lot of cannabis. So I've never had dreams, dreams that I remember. So dreaming is a really strange thing, and remembering a dream is a really strange thing. But yeah, it's they make me and hurt babies, but I don't let it bother me too much.
I had a question of John, if that's okay.
Yeah, come on, we're extending the recording. Continue, go ahead.
Okay, hi John, it's Christina from Canada. Unfortunately, I missed the intro. I was doing other things, so I'm looking forward to listening to the recording. Thank you, DJ Chris. But I did have a question. You're talking about dreams. I'm wondering, have you noticed if you're having such vivid dreams that you're waking up entrained? I have vivid dreams when I lived in the city. My neighbors would be waking me up doing the same thing, saying the same thing as the dream was saying. So I would be kind of waking up in this altered state where the gang stalkers would be pulling me out of my dream. And it was a sort of entrainment. Have you noticed that in your dreaming, that you are being triggered by gang stalking, sort of an entrainment where your brain is going from side to side, left, right, you can feel the pulsating in your brain?
Well, Christina, your sound was breaking up a little bit there. I caught most of what you're asking, I think. The gang stalking, for me, not happening. I was under surveillance for a while, but that stopped when I wrote the book. They don't do that to me anymore.
Did you find when you were
amazing.
right?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear.
Did you find, John, that when you were writing that your voice is all, I'm not even sure if you have B2K, I missed your intro, I'm sorry. If you have B2K, if your B2K would want to do a dictation.
Oh,
you're breaking up really badly, and I appreciate it, but we need to move on, unfortunately. So the book, again, is the TI, in the TI Book Club, of course. We have the honor of...
I have a question about your house when it was underneath.
Yeah, that's an interesting topic, of course. Go ahead.
Okay. Hey, can you hear me? I'm Steve from California.
Hi, Steve from California. I'm in California, too. We're extending the recording, so don't worry. I just need to play a quick commercial for us. Just 1 second, then you can come right in.
Thank you.
It's time for the TI Book Club, where every book opens a door to new worlds and shared journeys. Here, we uncover hidden gems, specially selected for TIs, and always within your reach. Be part of a community that reads together, grows together, and sees the world through the same lens. Don't just listen to stories, live them with us. Join now at bookclubs.com/TIBookClub/join, and let's turn the pages of adventure together.
Yes, and you'll see John's book there, too, so I appreciate that. John, go ahead, and the gentleman asking the question, go ahead. I'm sorry.
With your, underneath you, I mean, when they dug underneath your home, where do they dig from? I mean...
I don't know where they came from. They may have come straight from the FBI facility, because they can tunnel for 5 miles a day.
Really, I mean, so they can, like, I'm in a big beach, a lot of, I'm by the beach, so it's really populated, right? I mean, but here's the weird thing: my house underneath it. Did you ever feel like when they were underneath you, I felt like I was on a boat, because it would sway so much. My house, and it does that sometimes underneath my house, and I thought that, or I figured that there sounds like some kind of a rail system underneath my house. I can feel it go. But as some of the neighbors, they don't feel their house whirring or anything. But did you get that effect too?
I got it once. I got it once where they seemed like they crashed something into the foundation of our house or underneath, and our house shook, and the mirror on the wall went boom. I was like, what's going on? What are they doing?
That's absolutely wild.
It's a shuttle. It's a subtle. Like you're walking on a ship or something, like a cruise ship or something. You're on. You can't go straight. You just kind of how it is.
And that's interesting. Did anybody else have any questions before we continue? I just want to go over. The book is available at Amazon.com. We put the notes for the book in the chat room, and the book for you to look up is John Phillips, Electromagnetic Revolution and Federal Targeted Individual Program, Contributing Corporations and Federal Agencies in Idaho. John Phillips is the author. Go look it up on your favorite search engine. Thank you, John, for that. We'll continue with questions if you have them for John.
Who's the publisher? Yes, I have a question.
Hold on, one at a time. Next, Krista?
Yes.
Go ahead.
Hi, John. My name is Krista. I live in Parker, Colorado.
Hi, Krista.
Great. I appreciate everything you're doing for our community and coming on the show. It's nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
I wanted to address a couple of things. One, for the people that are having these night terrors, they say if you can find your hands, look for your hands, you're back in control of your dream. That, and they say, before you go to sleep, think the most positive thought, outcome, whatever, with whatever problem you're having, or, can just picture something in your mind that's beautiful right before you go to sleep, and it turns the whole thing around.
My therapist told me to do that, and it doesn't work. This is industrial strength. streams. It's just 4 streams. Yeah, you can't. It doesn't manipulate that way. Sorry.
Okay. Well, the other thing was, okay, there was an issue some time ago with an oil gas line that runs underneath the property here. And the neighbors were very, very pushy to get my dad to sign over the rights for mineral water rights and the rights to drill into this house, only giving him, $2,000 to sign this contract. And I told him to hit the bricks. One, because they came over on Easter Sunday to do it. And 2, are you out of your mind? I'm not going to sign away all the rights. Get out, right? So, what was it, a couple days ago, there was a weird, strange van sitting at the end of the driveway. Now, mind you, we're in rural Colorado, so everybody's got land with horses, cows, stuff like that. So the driveway is quite long. This guy was sitting right at the end of the driveway, right, in a big van. So I walked up there, and I took my iPad up there, and I filmed it, took a picture of his plate, took a picture of the van, and then I took pictures on the inside of the van, right? So he had 2 computer screens going. One was really, really big, and the other one was a little smaller, but I could see it. It was like a picture of our property, and he was in there like a mad scientist trying to do whatever with these 2 computers, right? So I took my knuckles and I banged on the hood of the van, and I go, "What are you doing?" And you know what he told me? He said, "I'm looking for dirt in the culvert." Really?
That's an interesting story. Thank you for that, Krista. We have other people asking questions.
And he works for the
next
county.
Question. And I know you've told this story a few times. Next question in line, please. I think Steve had a question in D.C.
Yeah. Hello, can you hear me?
I hear you, Steve. Come on in. And by the way, Steve won a 5.5-star review for his impeccable review editing of my book. Congratulations, Steve.
Thanks, man. Who published the book?
I'm the publisher.
John's book.
Oh, John's book.
No,
I think
not
he
you,
published it. I think he published his own book. Yeah.
Yeah, I loaded it through Kindle Create, and I published it on Amazon myself.
Cool beans. Next question in line. Sorry, we got to keep it going because we need to go to the next person. Thank you, Steve, for that. Next question in line.
Can I get this book on a download somewhere?
It is available at Amazon for download. Yes.
Hello.
How do I type in Amazon to pull it up?
Electromagnetic Revolution and Federal Targeted Individual Program by John Phillips. Boyatt, B-O-Y-A-T-T. John B. Phillips.
And a message to John there. I'm John from Philadelphia. Our targeting arrangement is very similar, bro. That's all I'm going to say. I'm going to leave it at that. I'm going to go to Amazon and take a look for it. How much is it to download it?
How long does it take, did you ask? It's instant.
How much does it cost? How much does it cost to download it?
Oh, $2.99 for the ebook.
For all that information, you're giving it away, but I'm going to go check it out. Thanks, bro.
Oh, that's why I sent him a review 4 years ago. I couldn't believe it was a bargain. Anybody else have a question for John Phillips?
I do.
I can hear somebody way in the background, but I can't hear you.
Can you hear me?
I think. Go ahead for John.
Hello, can you guys hear me? It's not.
That's not working. Next person in line for John, please.
Yeah, I got a quick question. When they're under,
Go ahead, sir.
How deep were they? How far underground, or how deep were they under?
Approximately 10 feet.
Okay. Okay. Thanks.
Thank you, John, for the interview. Thank you, everybody, for your participation. We're going to go ahead and switch to open mic now. If John wants to hang out for a couple more minutes, you're more than welcome to. But let's just go ahead and wrap it up for Spotify. Thank you, John, for explaining the video and your pictures so Spotify listeners can check it out too. Also, BitChute, YouTube, and archive.org. Please leave a comment, like, and subscribe. Thank you again. This is show number 102, and I appreciate you listening on your preferred platform. Thank you.